All right, so what are we making today? We're making some Japanese meal for dinner tonight. So we are actually making a spicy tuna donburi. We are making some salmon nigiri with sushi rice. We're making some miso soup, seaweed salad, and lastly, we are also making Gindara Saikyo, which is the black cod or sable fish, marinated in a miso marinade, a sweet miso marinade. Saikyo miso is basically a sweet miso. And then we will bake it in the oven, and then we'll also reduce the marinade, add some citrus to it, and that'll be our topping sauce. And all of that would be served with some sweet soy glaze, wasabi, some sushi ginger, and some yuzu kosho, which is basically a yuzu hot pepper paste. That's about it. So take a look at some of the ingredients that we'll be using. All right, so we have some Japanese tofu here. It's medium form. That's gonna go in our miso soup. We've got some shiitake mushrooms also going into our miso soup, some scallions. That's gonna go on our donburi, but also in the miso soup. We've got some Kewpie mayonnaise, which is the Japanese mayonnaise, together with the sriracha sauce that makes the dressing for the donburi or the spicy tuna bowl. And then here we have sushi seasoning that goes in the sushi rice, gives it a really nice flavor, and it's slightly sweet as well. Then we have the Japanese rice vinegar, which is called mirin. And mirin's also gonna go in our sushi rice, but it's one of the major components of our marinade that we're using for Gindara or the black cod. And then we have sake. Of course, the meal is gonna be served with some hot sake, but the sake also went in the marinade for the black cod. And then some sweet soy sauce, some tamari for sushi, and then this is the yuzu kosho. This is amazing. This is gonna go with our black cod, miso black cod, as a side. And then here, what we have is some sushi grade fish. We've got some bluefin tuna from Japan, and then from sushi salmon from Faroe Island. And then in the fridge, we have the black cod marinating for about a couple hours. We'll take that out in a few minutes and throw that in the oven. We'll take a look at that when we're ready for it. All right, so now we are making the spicy tuna donburi. It's very simple. All we have to do is take this tuna steak, which is sushi grade tuna, and chop it up in little pieces, as little as possible, almost make it like mushy paste. And then we're gonna add some sriracha sauce and Kewpie mayonnaise to it, a little bit of wasabi, and it'll be ready to go on the rice, and it will be topped with some scallions and sesame seeds and some fresh avocados. All right, so for our donburi, our tuna is diced up. As you can see, it's diced up really nicely, and it's very easy. Now all we have to do is add some Kewpie mayonnaise. Let's get some mayonnaise in there. Be a little bit generous on the mayonnaise. Then we add some sriracha. The spicier you want to make it, the more sriracha you gotta add. So this is according to your taste. A little bit of sweet soy. And that adds a little bit of sweetness to this. And a tad bit of wasabi paste. Just a dollop. All right, there we go. Maybe a little bit more, and that's it. And then we just mix it up all really well. Oh wow, look at that tuna. This is basically what you have in your spicy tuna roll. If you get a spicy tuna sushi roll, it's the exact same tuna. This is how you prepare that tuna for the spicy tuna roll. In donburi, it goes as a topping on just some sushi rice, and then we top it up with some fresh avocados and then scallions. So I'll show you that shortly. So this is our sushi rice. This is going to be used for sake nigiri, salmon nigiri, and also for our donburi. So once we take the sushi rice out of the rice cooker, you got to cool it down. And then you add some sushi seasoning to it, sushi rice seasoning. So all right, so now what we'll do is we'll start plating our donburi. So what I have, donburi is basically a rice bowl. So what we have in this bowl is some sushi rice. It's already pre-seasoned with sushi rice vinegar. And then here's our spicy tuna mix that we made earlier. So what we'll do is now we'll add a layer of this spicy tuna on this rice. Closer. A nice layer of some spicy tuna. Once that's done, we top it up with some scallion. We add some sesame seeds. We got some sushi ginger. And lastly, we'll add some avocados. Either sliced or diced avocado should work. Add some more. And that's it. The spicy tuna donburi is ready to serve. All right, so now for our Gindara or black cod, also known as sablefish. This is the marinade that it's been sitting in. The marinade has sweet miso or Saikyo miso. It's got some mirin. It's also got some sake. And that's about it. And we've made some cuts to the fish. So the marinade is actually gonna go inside the fish. And it's been sitting in this marinade for about 3 hours. And we're now gonna throw this in the oven at 400 degrees for 20 minutes. All right, and in the oven this goes. Again, at 400 degrees for about 20 minutes. All right, so now that our sablefish or Gindara is in the oven, cooking for about 20 minutes, here's the marinade that we had from that fish. We're gonna reduce this and make it into a sauce. This is very high umami, very delicious sauce once we reduce it. And to give it a little bit of a citrus twist, what we're gonna add is some lemon zest to it as it reduces. So in the pan it goes. All right. And then keep stirring it on medium heat until the sauce thickens. It should take only about 10 minutes for this to really thicken. And this sauce is going to be delicious. So what we're going to do is once the Gindara comes out of the oven, we're going to torch it so it gets that smoky flavor. And then we'll brush this sauce on top of it and it's going to be delicious. And now we are throwing in some lemon zest in this sauce. As you can see, this sauce is thickening really nicely, and you'll get some caramelization of this sauce and the sweetness of miso and also some of the saltiness of the miso and the mirin is going to be heightened. So it's going to be nice, sweet, salty with some citrus in it. This sauce is incredible. All right, so now the black cod or Gindara is out of the oven. 20 minutes at 400. That's how it looks like. It is fully cooked, but not overcooked. So it's going to be nice and juicy, tender, very buttery on the inside. This fish is also known as butterfish because it's very, very rich and very buttery. Delicious fish. Now what we'll do is we'll start plating it, and then we'll torch it, and then finally glaze that marinade sauce that we made. Just glaze it on top. All right, so now we'll be plating our Gindara Saikyo, or the black cod with miso. So what I'll do is I'll pick up this fillet. Let's see here, hopefully without really damaging it. Get this on the plate. Once it's on the plate, that's when we have to torch it. So torching the fish does two things. One, it makes it a little smoky, but also the miso that was on top, it caramelizes it. Now that this is done, now we're gonna take our brush and this sauce, which was the marinade that we reduced, we're gonna spread some of that sauce. It also had some lemon zest, so it's got really nice citrusy flavor to it. And we're just gonna put that sauce on top of this fish. Oh, it's delicious. Yeah, be generous on this sauce because it is really delicious. And then with this fish, what we serve is some sweet soy glaze. So maybe a dot of sweet soy. Some yuzu kosho, which is the yuzu and pepper paste. It goes right next to it. And then we'll also add some sushi ginger, but actually not the sweet one, the slightly spicier version. And there it goes. Miso black cod is ready to be served. Okay, so now we are making some salmon nigiri. So what I had here is 2 fillets of salmon, and I have this sashimi knife, which is really convenient to cut your salmon fillets into small pieces needed for nigiri. So as you can see, we have to cut them in nice flat pieces, and then we have some sushi rice over there. We'll make some oval shaped balls out of that sushi rice. Remember to wet your hands or use some sesame oil because the sushi rice is very sticky. So right now we are just filleting some salmon, and I've got all these pieces of salmon ready, and they'll be going on some nice nigiri pieces. Alright, so now we are making some salmon nigiri. We already cut the salmon in small pieces to go along with our nigiri, and I'm now making rice. I've wet my hands and I've also applied some sesame oil so the sushi rice does not stick to my hands because it's very sticky. What we want to do is we want to make these oval shaped rice balls, and you don't want to compress them too much. You want to keep them fluffy and airy. You don't want to make them too tight. And then a piece of salmon, and then we push it all together, push it on the top, turn one more time, sideways again, and there you go. You've got a piece of nice salmon nigiri. Alright, so now salmon nigiri is ready and we are ready to get it plated. So as you can see on this plate, we've got some salmon nigiri. Last step, I have some sweet soy here and I'm gonna brush it on top of this salmon nigiri. It's gonna add a nice flavor to it. Just a little bit, not too much, but the sweet soy really enhances the flavors of that salmon. And then once we are done brushing that sweet soy, a little bit of wasabi on the plate. Got some sushi ginger. And that's it. This nigiri is ready to be served.